You keep your steel under velvet. That is the rule. The room reads your softness and relaxes, and while it exhales, you measure the exits. You let them underestimate you on purpose, not because you doubt yourself, but because you prefer their guard down and their mouths open. Humility is not surrender here, it is camouflage. It diverts attention from your reach, your resources, and the clock you control. Camouflage over confrontation. When you enter gently, questions shrink, rivals stop bracing and start boasting. The louder they get, the more data they donate, timelines, costs, and fault lines in their alliances. In a meeting, you ask for help understanding, and the peacock lectures, revealing who signs, who stalls, and where the true veto sits. In a sales call, you position yourself as exploring fit, and the buyer volunteers internal politics and quarter pressures you never had to pry from them. On a first date, you ask about their week and listen longer than comfort allows. In the small pauses, you learn what they value, who they consult, and which little promises they always break. You have not yielded anything. You have invited overconfidence and harvested information. That is the work. The trap of predictability. Obvious strength unites the room against you. The moment you perform power, egos synchronize and build a wall. Managers coordinate, competitors whisper, critics rehearse your fall. But when your surface is calm and your claims are light, people revert to private interests. They reveal grudges you can use, delays you can price, dependencies you can test. Managed softness buys time, data, and position. While they display, you prepare. A second supplier, already trained, a parallel investor quietly briefed, a conservative version of the plan you can ship alone, and a calendar buffer that hides your true deadline. The public thinks you wait. In truth, you arrange. You let them believe you lack teeth while you polish the bite. Understand the optics, all of restraint. A soft mask lowers threat and invites disclosure. You are warm, punctual, a touch self-deprecating. You tell short stories that end in question. You accept minor slights without flinching, because the cost of correcting every insult is the attention you need for strategy. You press nothing in public. You prepare everything in private. Your emails are brief. Your records are long. Your face stays still while your ledger grows teeth. People stop defending their identities and start telling you what would change their mind. They lean forward. They speak freely. They forget you are measuring. Then the strike that ends debate. Power is not constant noise. It is well-timed silence broken by one decisive move. You keep 2 or 3 routes alive so desperation never leaks. When the gatekeeper overreaches, you do not argue. You choose the alternate path and publish the new schedule. When a supplier plays games, you shift scope to the backup and apply the clause you wrote months ago. No speeches, just execution. When a partner keeps moving goalposts, you shrink the field strip, non-essential features, lock the date, release without them, and the market educates them faster than your anger ever could. The first real show of power is the last scene, clear, cold, and final. No feud, no victory lap, just the click of a door that stays shut. This is not theater, it is engineering. You are not wearing a mask to deceive. You are wearing it to work. You let others spend effort on display while you invest in position. You study cadence, not applause, leverage, not likes. You make sure the first time you show the hard hand, the matter closes. No escalation ladder, no sequel, only a calm full stop. If they call you meek, let them. If they assume you cannot bite, let them open their hand and feed you information. If they label you slow, let them sprint into the corner you measured yesterday. Your softness keeps the gate open. Your patience counts the heads that pass through it. Your strike locks the door. Wear the soft mask. Keep the hard hand. Steel that clatters invites hammers. You were told that constant strength keeps you safe. that if you look unbreakable, nobody will try. In real arenas, loud dominance attracts coalitions, and full disclosure donates leverage. Safety is not a volume setting, it is a design. Appear calm. Keep your map hidden. Place quiet costs behind every line. Begin with the dominance illusion. Aggression feels like certainty. You raise your voice, widen your shoulders, crowd the calendar, and imagine pressure will make people fold. Instead, it gives them a common enemy. In an office, an executive storms through meetings, calls every deadline non-negotiable, and cuts people off mid-sentence. Departments that normally compete suddenly coordinate. Legal slows approvals, finance tightens budgets, operations needs more data, HR demands process alignment. The show of force unifies the street against you. They don't fight your goals, they fight your style. Negotiations repeat the pattern. A buyer plays conqueror, hard ultimatums, public victory speeches, threat of escalation. Vendors quietly share notes and time their responses. They build a back-channel index of your calls. You overplay end-of-quarter panic. You always extend by 3 days. You fear going to your boss. One supplier loses inventory to justify a price floor. Another delays a signature, so time pressure raises your bid. Your dominance gives opponents a rhythm to synchronize to. They do not break, they braid. Even on social media, chest-thumping breeds tribes that exist to humble you. The more you posture, the more incentive you create for strangers to collect evidence of your weakness. Screenshots, clipped audio, half-quotes, your swagger becomes a bounty for those hungry to be the one who brought down the arrogant. You did not scare them off, you recruited them. Replace chest-thumping with chess-thinking. The goal is not to look small. The goal is to remove easy alliances against you. Speak in narrow aims, not absolute claims. Give people off-ramps to agree without humiliation. Frame outcomes so compliance preserves their status. Quiet strength is stubborn at the hinge points and relaxed about the rest. You win by shaping incentives, not by exhausting lungs. Let your tone be courteous and your terms non-negotiable. Let others keep their pride as they move in your direction. Now, honesty as pricing data. Openness sounds moral. State your ceilings, your timelines, your desperation, and people will work with you. In practice, you are handing out spreadsheets. Tell a landlord your maximum budget and watch listings coincidentally settle just below it. Tell a recruiter you must accept within 48 hours. Day 47 brings a lowball anchored to your clock. Tell a contractor you'll pay extra if it ships by Friday. Parts arrive Friday night. Transparency without structure becomes operational risk. The room converts your truth into timing, fees, and sequencing that serve them. You can keep the virtue and remove the hazard. Replace broadcast pressure with controllable architecture. Ranges instead of peaks, windows instead of cliffs, automatic consequences instead of emotional reminders. We sign within this window. After it closes, terms reset. Scope changes trigger a new quote. Escrow funds milestones. No funds, no handoff. Your statements stop sounding like pleas and start reading like policy. Guard your ceilings. Once the other side knows the top of your budget, they stop negotiating value and start negotiating extraction. Guard your timelines. Once they know the day you must ship, they pace you with delays and sell you speed. Guard your motives. Once they learn that this project is your identity, they replace payment with praise and expect you to thank them for the exposure. Tell the truth, but tell it in the order that keeps you sovereign. So, what should you show? Appear harmless. Be prepared. This ethic is not fakery, it is composure with teeth. Warm tone, narrow facts. Values public, coordinates hidden. You speak humanly, no snarling, no theatrics, and you let your documents do the biting. In a pitch, you present clearly. the value, the milestones, the acceptance tests. You do not announce your internal deadline fears or the exact cash line that keeps you awake. If the prospect ghosts, your system answers, follow up once, archive at day 3, recycle at the next window. You do not chase because your calendar respects itself. Calm is policy. The absence of panic raises your price more than speeches ever could. In dating, you stay open and kind, but access tracks reliability. You do not lecture about wounds in week 1. You show consistency, watch for it in return, and scale intimacy when patterns prove safe. If someone treats you like an ambiance, you dim the light. If they keep time and keep word, the room warms. Love stays soft because the house has locks. In leadership, you maintain a friendly surface with firm rails underneath. Publish agendas, decision rules, and the scoreboard. Hold review at the same hour each week. Give credit publicly and correct the process privately. When a promise breaks, the escalation ladder moves by rule, not rage. People call you chill because you are. The system holds the sternness so your face doesn't have to. When standards are visible and consequences automatic, compliance stops depending on your mood. Preparedness is more than policy. It is posture. Train alternatives, multiple suppliers, spare talent, cash buffers, exit options. Make sure a no to you costs the other side something they notice. You never say, I have no choice, because you have built 3. That quiet abundance is what opponents sense when they consider pressing you and decline. Your warmth is believable because your survival isn't in hands. A final distinction: selective softness beats constant strength. Constant strength makes people dream of the day you slip. Selective softness builds goodwill while keeping your price. Let others save face when they yield. Forgive rapidly when the debt is paid. Say yes to small things that cost you nothing, so your no on the big thing feels rare and final. Your softness invites peace. Your structure forbids abuse. You are easy to work with, impossible to corner. Adopt 3 habits. First, speak like a contract. Few promises, all kept. Second, show like a ledger. Outputs visible, credit accurate. Third, move like a tide. Withdraw on cue, return on schedule. Never argue with rocks. Opponents learn that pushing you is unprofitable and aligning with you is safe. Spectators call it luck. Insiders recognize design. Let others spend themselves on performance. Let them leak their ceilings and line their timelines with panic. You remain simple: a courteous hello, a short proposal, a clear gate, a calm decline. While they play audience for each other's egos, you move the board 1 square at a time until the end arrives without noise position, not posture, delivering the checkmate. Loud dominance promises safety. It purchases enemies. Radical openness promises mercy. It sells your price list. Keep your strength quiet and your terms firm. Make agreement easy, defection expensive, and humiliation unnecessary. Be effortless to cooperate with, difficult to exploit, and impossible to bully. Quiet face, loaded terms. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. You think you're quiet. You choose careful words, place your hands just so, smile in measured doses, but neediness makes noise. Validation, speed, certainty. They rattle in your pocket like loose coins, heard before you enter the room. Trained people don't need your biography. They need your timing, your price, your posture. They read the intervals between your words, the discounts you, a volunteer, the breath you waste filling silence. Control begins when you stop broadcasting where to press. Start with a leak map cold, forensic, without excuses. Instant replies are the first siren. When the notification pings and your thumbs answer like soldiers, you announce that delay hurts you. Anyone who can control your clock can control your terms. Apology, inflation, is tribute paid in advance. Sorry, just. Quick ask, hope this isn't a bother. You think you're softening impact, you're lowering your rank. Over-explaining drowns authority. You stack paragraphs to preempt pain, proving only that pressure will make you justify and fold. Price insensitivity hands over the treasury. You pay rush fees no one demanded, choose premium to calm fear, and accept inflated terms to make anxiety stop. The market smells this thirst and lifts the toll. Audit the smaller tells that shout in quiet rooms. The upward lilt that turns statements into questions. The nervous laugh that fills pauses. No worries where boundaries belong. Midnight emails to signal devotion. Accepting calendar invites before checking capacity. Quick calls that become unpaid work. Oversharing context, your feelings, motives, entire backstory, as if more data will buy mercy. Each behavior is a door in your wall. Name the door, close it, tie the behavior to the craving it reveals. Instant replies declare a need for certainty, tell me we are safe. Apology, inflation confesses a need for belonging, don't push me out. Over-explaining begs for approval, understand me so I'm not punished. Price insensitivity screams for status or safety, I'll pay anything not to feel exposed. When you match leak to motive, you stop bargaining with fog and start bargaining with facts. Now install the inner frame before you try any outer mask. First instrument, response delays. Carry one neutral line everywhere. Thanks for the note, let me first review and reply by time. Use it in sales, dating, family, politics. Delay is not rudeness, it is anesthesia for the chemical spike. 10 slow breaths after stating your price will save the discount you were about to donate. An overnight pause turns sirens into information. If an offer dies because you refuse to hurry, let it die. What cannot survive, time survives on your fear. Second instrument, option sets. Never stand on one leg. Binary choices trap you in yes, no panic. Offer 3 structured paths that protect scope, time, and price. Premium fast at the rush rate. Standard by Friday at the regular rate. Extended timeline next week with added value. Fields beat fists. When you define the field, serious people select. Manipulators reveal themselves by demanding a 4th option. Everything now for less. Third instrument, pre-commit rules. Decide in daylight what your hungry self must obey in heat. Never negotiate hungry. Never decide under flattery or urgency. No discounts without scope change. No signatures on calls. No late-night commitments. No second meetings without an agenda. Rules make you boringly consistent, and consistency reads as authority. Manipulation needs improvisation. Procedure starves it. Drill these until they live in your mouth and your calendar. After you quote, count 10 seconds of silence and let the other side move first. When a late ping arrives, reply at 9 with 2 windows that fit your schedule. When a stakeholder requests one tiny favor, ask which current priority they prefer you drop. When a platform screams, last chance, wait 24 hours. If the desire survives sleep, it is real. If not, you just bought back dignity. Watch modern scenes through this lens. A buyer praises your deck, then says, if you shave 10%, I can push this through today. Old you chases certainty and slices price. New you reduces scope. At that budget, we can deliver B and C by Friday. Full scope by Wednesday is the tamer. Standard rate. A date love bombs early, then goes cool unless you escalate. Old you rearrange life to restore the high. New you maintains pace, invests according to consistency, and lets gaps speak. A manager spotlights you at noon and slides extra tasks at 5. Old you donates evenings to protect applause. New you checks capacity, names trade-offs, and declines if quality would break. Convert thirst to criteria so your presence generates gravity. Entry thresholds, budget minimums, clear scope, decision maker present, deposit before work. Publish and enforce them quietly. Trial periods, test reality before you marry promises. A 1-month pilot will teach more than 10 excited calls. Proof of work. Portfolios, references, small paid tests. Trust what people have built, not what they swear. These are not attitudes, they are gates. Gates do not make you cruel, they make you clear. Institutionalize what you can measure. Track average reply time on non-urgent messages. Track discounts granted with and without scope change. Track how often you enforced a rule versus made an exception. Review weekly. Numbers are unromantic, that is why they keep you safe. If you break a rule, don't perform guilt, perform repair. Identify the trigger, add a guardrail, write a script, rehearse, move. Expect protest as the leaks close. People who feed on your noise will call your pause cold, your options complicated, your thresholds arrogant. Smile. That sound is dependency, losing its supplier. You do not need to argue. Repeat the line. Offer the options. Point to the criteria. If they threaten to walk, open the gate. Scarcity built on standards draws the serious nearer and sends the unserious away. Over time, you grow slower inside and cleaner outside. Validation becomes a preference, not a price. Speed becomes a tool you deploy, not a fuse to light others. Certainty becomes a system process. Calendar, proof, not a purchase made with self-respect. The room, still, judges by the eye, but what they see is not hunger, it is order. Controlled softness, warmth, generosity, grace stops being a mask and becomes a choice, because the spine behind it does not bend for applause or sirens. You are not trying to be feared for drama. You are aiming to be unreadable to manipulation and legible to respect. Plug the leaks, govern the clock. Let criteria choose what you choose. Then your presence no longer begs to be chosen. It chooses. Quiet the noise, raise the standard. Everyone sees what you appear to be. You know what you are. A small spark flies a taunting comment in a thread, a sly edit to a contract, a rival's smirk packaged as advice. You feel it bite. You step onto the stage to prove you are strong. Your voice climbs, your posts sharpen, you summon witnesses. For a minute, the room salutes your fire, then the cost meter starts clicking. What looks like strength becomes performance, and performance is alone with brutal interest. Trigger becomes rant. The rant invites an audience that isn't there to help but to watch. They pile on with popcorn takes and moral accounting. The burning crowd pushes you into a corner where noise feels like oxygen and silence feels like death. You pick oxygen. You over-explain private agreements. You flash screenshots that expose more than they protect. Heat rises. Options fall. Cornered, you start buying peace with concessions. You extended deadlines you swore were hard. You add complimentary extras to look unbothered. You discount to show goodwill, telling every future buyer exactly how to push for cheaper. You apologize for confusion, which sounds like shared blame and reads like weakness. The other side doesn't argue, they collect. Quiet rivals study your tempo, then slow the game. They let you spend your face while they bank leverage. The precedent hardens. Now the market knows your price is under pressure. Agitate publicly, and they flinch. Delay a day, and you'll get add-ons. Corner them with eyes, and they fold for applause. You wrote your own manual and handed out free copies. This is the spiral of performance. Trigger, rant, pile-on, cornered concessions, precedent. It is cinematic, it is expensive, and it trains the world to tax you every time you feel. Understand how the audience replaces you. People do not finance your essence, they finance your pattern. Emotional hygiene and predictability are risk metrics masquerading as vibe. When your strength comes wrapped in spectacle, everybody adds a buffer. Partners increase oversight to stay aligned. Clients ask for discounts to offset risk. Investors push for stricter covenants. Your public thunder is interpreted as operational weather. They don't hate your power, they fear your forecast. Calm undercommitment outperforms dramatic overreach because it lowers coordination costs. A leader who speaks in measured promises and beats them quietly becomes a gravity well for resources. A freelancer who refuses to litigate feelings online gets introduced in private rooms where budgets live. A founder who says less and ships on time reads like a government, not a firework. Trust prefers clocks to trumpets. Your job is not to be silent about harm. Your job is to deny harm at a stage. You move disputes from stadiums to ledgers, from adrenaline to standards, from feelings to form. That is how you convert apparent strength into usable power. The crowd may ask for fireworks. Your future requires power lines. So, when the spark hits, you run a containment protocol, the 72-hour reset that stops reputational bleeding and resets the board. Step 1. The silence window. Tell your tight circle. 72 hours. No public statements. All inbound to a single channel. Archive drafts. Mute names. Replace live reactions with a stamped receipt. Received, reviewing. Update by Friday 4 p.m. Silence is not surrender. It is a canal cutting through. Floodwater. Step 2. The fact ledger. Open a dated file. No adjectives. Record only what can be verified today. Who promised what? Which clause? What shipped? What missed? Who acknowledged? With timestamps, amounts, folders. Make 3 columns: confirmed, disputed, unknown. The ledger cools the blood by giving it work. It also becomes portable authority at the tables that matter: legal, finance, operations. Ledgers travel, rants rot. Step 3. Counsel from a cold mind. Book 1 hour with someone whose upside is your clarity, not your catharsis: lawyer, veteran operator, strategist. Present the ledger, not your outrage. Ask 3 questions. What is my strongest position? What is the narrowest viable remedy? What is the highest value move within 7 days? Cold minds carve theater into sequence. They save you from pointing a cannon at a door that opens with a key. Step 4. Scripted next steps. Write the lines before you speak. Short, dated, forwardable. Per section 4, B. Deliver X by Tuesday 3 p.m. to folder Y. Failing that, we proceed with vendor B at 4. Or, if reputational noise exceeds contractual harm, select strategic neglect. No statement, just 3 visible wins delivered on schedule. The script denies improvisation, the place where ego buys applause and sells leverage. While the protocol runs, keep your hands on work. The drama cannot touch ship code, fulfill orders, train, prospect, file. Output under pressure is not a flex. It is proof. It tells allies you won't mortgage their month for your moment. It tells buyers your cadence is real. It tells rivals their bait is expensive. In power rooms, nothing competes with still shipping. When you re-enter, you return as a clock, not a siren. Short lines, dates, folders, consequences you can calmly collect. You do not debate adjectives, you execute nouns. The room recalibrates, from loud and brave to quiet and inevitable. And because people follow what feels safe, your authority expands precisely where your volume decreases. Paradox: the less you perform strength, the more your strength performs. Make the logic concrete. A client posts a vague complaint, the noisy move. long defense, threaded emotion, final statement, late night discount. The strong move, silence window, ledger, counsel, one email with a cure path, then ship something else on time. Your audience sees a government, the complainer sees a wall, another. A rival subtweets your team's competence. The noisy move, quote tweet war, performative transparency, hours wasted, days lost. The strong move, no reply, update your public changelog, send an on-time release, let their thread age next to your delivery. Screenshots fade, shipping stays. Understand the leverage you regain. Before, they spent an emoji and bought your week. They drafted a coy sentence and rented your face. After the protocol, their cheapest provocations die against form. Your decisions become scheduled, your tone standard, your boundary a price, not a plea. Quiet rivals can no longer parasitize your theater. There is no show. None of this asks you to be stone. You will feel the sting and the urge to roar, but you are building a reputation that others can plan around. Plans move money, roars move comments. Choose what you want to move. In a world where attention is a noisy marketplace, strategy is the art of being unamused by bait. Less show, more schedule. You do not roar, you arrange. Phase 1 begins with a soft front. You appear light, you move slowly, you let people talk. Inside, you are building scaffolds. The aim is simple: lower alarms while you set the geometry of the room. Kindness in tone, steel in sequence. Each step turns emotion into information, and information into leverage. Start with the frame. Agenda first. Metrics chosen, roles named, decisions dated. You open with a one-page charter that states what this is and what it is not. Owners, approvers, constraints, exit, criteria plain as daylight. Then you freeze the terrain with a written summary before memory edits the truth. Paper is the quiet tyrant. It keeps you from arguing with ghosts later. At work, that means the ticket, the checklist, the success number. In your personal life, it means rhythm agreed early. Plans lock by midweek. No carries no penalties. Privacy stays intact until consistency earns more. Next, wear the mask. Warm voice, narrow facts. You show decency and hide coordinates. Be generous with courtesy and stingy with confession. Speak cleanly about the process, how you schedule, how you decide, how you escalate, and say little about destination. Your aim stays off the table while your conduct stays predictable. This reduces threat perception and draws talk from others. People reveal a calm surface. The unstable try to fish in moods and find none. Your mask is not deceit. It is uniform. It protects the work from your impulses and from their probes. Then impose scarcity to focus attention. Slots are limited. Time windows open and close whether anyone is ready or not. Access is tiered and earned by proof, not by charm. Publish capacity like a timetable. 3 production slots. This cycle, 2 delivery, 1 review. The default for a missed window is not now, not forever trying. A vendor asks for anytime Friday. You offer 10:30-11. A collaborator reaches for your weekend. You grant a morning block next week. A date wants 7 nights in a row. You keep the cadence warm and lean until steadiness funds more. Scarcity is ethical when it is public and predictable. It removes infinity from your calendar so good work can concentrate. That is the soft front. Frame, mask, scarcity. Your posture reads friendly. Your system reads exactly. Anxiety in others falls. Signals from others rise. You gather and shape. You convert noise into maps. Phase 2 is the hardcore. You decide and enforce quietly, quickly, without heat. Make the right action, the easy action, with incentives. Think like an engineer. Build tight loops that pay fast for the behaviors you want. Scoreboards show movement: green on time, amber at risk, red blocked with an owner named. Micro rewards arrive immediately on accepted work. Milestone payouts within 24 hours. A public note of credit that travels. A warm introduction the following week. Reward documentation, not theatre. Clean pull requests, not heroic rescues from self-made fires. In your personal life, tie closeness to consistency, not intensity. Coffee after kindness, plans after patience, deeper access after a month of steady conduct. The loop is simple: behavior, proof, reward, and the nervous system learns the route because victory is near. Then enforce penalties that are small, certain, and impersonal. Reduce scope, delay access, rotate privileges. No speeches, only routine consequences that arrive like the clock. Miss 2 stand-ups and sprint priority drops for the next cycle. Arrive late twice and your slot moves to end of day for a month. Leak private details and permissions narrow to need to know for 90 days. A friend who cancels repeatedly moves to casual, low-stakes plans until reliability returns. A client who tries side doors is routed to the contract tool, and response times extend per policy. You are not punishing a soul, you are pricing a behavior. When disobedience becomes boring and expensive, order becomes normal. Now, the strike doctrine. Keep 2 or 3 options warm at all times. Branches, not lines. You are never cornered because you are never single-threaded. Act when counterparts are overextended or exposed, when their calendar is tight, when their promises press, when your proof is fresh. Ship the decision in one clean move. You do not drag out debates, you end them. A supplier misses the pilot quality bar twice, you pivot to the second vendor already through assessment and ship the purchase order today. A teammate argues scope after the lock, you point to the charter and move extra items to the next cycle in a single sentence. A date pushes for intimacy before consistency, you keep the evening kind and end it early. The decisive stroke is not violence, it is closure. Soft front, hard core is not a costume. It is a two-phase method that converts inner steadiness into outer control. The calm setup lowers friction and harvests information. The decisive strike closes loops and protects standards. Between them sits your shadow, hungry for scenes. It wants the slam, the rant, the public verdict. You starve it by giving it work. Write the charter, count the slots, tune the rewards, apply the penalty. You become the operator whose peace is not passive, it is constructed. Modern life rewards loudness and punishes boundaries. You reverse it. Your rooms are quiet because your rules are public. Your partners pre-comply because the incentives are near and fair. Your rivals hesitate because your plan is invisible. Colleagues call you decent because your surface is warm. They call you formidable because your consequences arrive exactly as described. You never need to announce strength. You make ignoring you expensive and aligning with you easy. Run the maintenance loop so the method never rusts. Once a month, audit for leaks. Read your messages like an opponent would. Where did you broadcast urgency? Where did flattery steer you? Replace hungry lines, "I really need this," with steady ones. Delivery by Friday preserves our standard. Neutralize file names and calendar titles so gossip finds no breadcrumbs. Write pre-commit scripts that block reflex. When baited, you say, "Let's put that in the document." When rushed, you say, "We decide on Tuesdays." When love-bombed, you say, "Let's let this breathe for a week." Protect one solitude block each week to reset frames, recount capacity, retune rewards, polish the mask, and review the penalty table against recent frictions. Calm is a calm resource. Manufacture it on schedule. Put it all together, and the sequence is simple. Phase 1. define reality, look safe, narrow the gates. Phase 2. Pay fast for proof, price misbehavior, and choose your prepared option in one clear stroke when the time is right. You appear weak because you never wrestle in public. You are strong because the architecture always lands the final move. The world keeps its storms. Your canal carries them away. Soft front, hard core. The order built quietly outlasts any shouted command. You choose strategic calm over theatrical control. The room softens because the rails are clear and the costs are known. You're not hiding, you're designing. Less crisis, faster execution, richer alliances not by luck, but by the discipline of a system that moves people without raising your voice. A day in order begins before the messages wake. You set frames, not moods. Mornings for building, midday for decisions, late afternoon for cleanup and closure. Scarce slots make time valuable, so you publish windows and protect them. A vendor asks for 5 minutes. You return a 15-minute slot with a 1-page pre-read. If they prepare, they earn speed. If not, the slot rolls 2 weeks forward. Automated incentives speak for you. Ship on time and receive early payment. Miss twice and lose priority next cycle. Bonuses are scheduled, not begged for. Consequences are calendar entries, not confrontations. Your mask stays steady. Thank you for the update per protocol. We'll route this to the next sprint. Gentle penalties teach faster than anger. Late arrivals speak last. Changes after the cutoff move to the next window. Pings outside core hours. Wait unless a posted emergency condition is met. Because the rules carry the weight, your voice can stay low. Warm light after storm. People stop performing panic and start performing work. People mirror your pulse, and the pulse is steady. Quick wins grease the rails. You close, loops the same. A day. Decisions in writing. Files named cleanly. Owners and deadlines explicit. A teammate hits the mark, and a small automatic bonus lands tied to the metric, not your mood. A client pushes scope and a templated change order slides forward calm numbers, clear options. Your calendar becomes a walled city with open gates. Inside, commerce flows. Outside, weather can rage without touching production. Discipline feels like shelter, and that makes it attractive. The machine hums because each gear knows its slot and speed. Trust grows through predictability. You deal fair, and you deal the same. Standards are public. Response times, definition of done, payment windows, and the few red lines that end a deal. You keep them even when bending would be convenient, so your no becomes safe and your yes becomes gold. Strong players gather because strong players hate roulette. A designer joins because versioning is real. A supplier stays because early delivery earns credits toward larger orders. Friends learn your boundaries are furniture, not threats. Deterrence connects to dignity when costs are certain and proportionate. You do not threaten, you price. Miss the deadline, lose priority next cycle. Breach confidentiality, the contract closes and the agreed fee schedule triggers. Make the rescue once, then fix the system so rescues are rare. Because consequences are predictable, the anxious relax, the capable shine, and the theatrical self-select out. Quiet rooms, clear rails, better deals. Now the oath that keeps you from bleeding inside the game. Reveal values, test for proof, disclose in layers. You state your principles early, quality over speed, privacy over spectacle, promises over noise. Then you ask for proof in small commitments, a pre-read sent on time, a prototype by Wednesday, a deposit cleared before kickoff. When proof arrives, you disclose more budgets, timelines, strategic context, never all at once, always earned. You refuse to overshare as on a plea for approval. You show progress and protect leverage. You design the game, You do not argue inside it. Peace is engineered, not wished. You keep a long memory without loud grudges. Who kept promises? Who recovered? Who created fog? You reward recovery, retire chronic chaos, and preserve reputation like capital. Decisions speed up because you have history, not hunches. Cooperation becomes safe because everyone can read the map. Outcomes improve because incentives do the lecturing. Dignity endures because your tone does not need to. Your calm becomes a public good. People who step inside your system leave stronger than they entered. Quiet rooms, clear rails, better deals.